What is up, everybody? Welcome to another installment of 777. We're going over Gematria tonight.
Yeah.
Nick, tell them where they can find you and tell them what you're up to.
Yes. The Occult Rejects, obviously, on BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, and all major podcasts. One thing, just to let the listeners know, we are going to switch back and forth on each other's YouTubes as we do this. Just to make you have to go and check out Headlesses, just to be a pain in the ass. So definitely do that. This weekend coming up for people that are catching this live now. Friday night, we do have Eros Up is coming on to present a topic on Hercules, the 12 labors of Hercules. I think I'm saying that correctly. So definitely check that out. And then the Friday after that, we'll be all be getting together again, the team, to look at Untermeyer Park, and we'll be covering that. Got plenty of drone footage and professional looking camera footage, so it should be cool. So definitely check out that stuff. We got that all coming up soon.
And we have a big announcement. Also, we are the number two occult podcast in the world, in the universe, actually.
Yes,
In the
yes.
entire universe, we are number two.
Last year, unfortunately, on that site, we were number one. This year, not for nothing, but I was just like, we got beat by that guy. Like, it is what it is. But I'm like, that motherfucker's never even practiced magic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like if this dude has never even stepped in the fucking ring and he's number one. It is what it is. But I was like, yeah, number two though. I'm fucking happy with that. Definitely happy.
Yeah. We got number one last year, and we're coming back with a bullet.
Yes. Oh yeah. Next year we'll be number two. I mean, we'll be number one for sure. We're gonna make that.
We will be number one again. Just mark my words. All right, so let's hit it. Gematria.
Yes. If you want, I'll start it off. Gematria. This is taken verbatim from Aleister Crowley's Equinox, Volume 1, Number 5. And there's some of the words in here. I'm sure we're gonna have to just spell it out. I'm not even gonna know how the fuck to say it. It must first be here. It must first here be spoken of the exotic Kabbalah to be found in books, a shell of that perfect fruit of the tree of life. Next, we will deal with the esoteric teachings of it, as Frater P was able to understand them. I'm assuming that's Frater Perturabo. And of these we shall give examples showing the falsity and absurdity of the uninitiated path, the pure truth and reasonables of the hidden way. For the student unacquainted with the rudiments of the Kabbalah, we recommend the study of S.L. Mather's introduction to his translation of the three principal books of the Zohar and Westcott's introduction to the study of the Kabbalah. We ventured to append a few quotations from the former document, which will show the elementary principles of calculation. Dr. Westcott's little book is principally valuable for its able defense of the Kabbalah as against exotericism and literalism. I don't know if you want to take
the literal. Yeah. The literal Kabbalah is divided into three parts: GMTRIA, gematria; Notarquin, NVTRIQVN; and Tamura, or THMVRH. Right? Gematria is a metathesis of the Greek word, which is based on the relative numerical value. That's really sad. I got to learn my Greek better. I'm sorry. Relative numerical values of words, right? So I think what that word is going to be the isopsophy, but I'm not sure exactly. That's a G in front, R A M M A T E I A, which Gematia, I guess, but no, it came from isopsophy. So, anyways, words, relative numerical values of words. Words of similar numerical values are considered to be explanatory of each other, and this theory is extended to phrases. Thus, the letter shin, sh, is 300 and is equivalent to the number obtained by adding the numerical values of the letters of the words RVCH, Rach Elohim, the spirit of Elohim, and is therefore a symbol of the spirit of Elohim. For R equals 200, V equals 6, CH equals 8, A equals 1, L equals 30, H equals 5, I equals 10, M equals 40, totaling 300. Similarly, the words achad, or unity, one, and abah, love, each 13. For A equals 1, CH 8, D equals 4, totaling 13. What's that?
I don't say anything.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
One thing I didn't say,
Again,
it adds up to 300. That's interesting.
Well, again, they're using
the movie The 300. Yeah.
There is that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, a lot of what they say in Greek about the myths are very numerically coded, very, very much like the 9 muses, right?
Yeah.
The 300, the 10,000. Like these are all major stories in Greek history, and I think there's a lot of isopsophy that goes into those.
Oh, I guarantee you.
Right. Again, the name of the angel Metatron or Methraton, and the name of the deity Shaddai, each make 314. So the one is taken as symbolical of the other. The angel Metatron is said to have been given the conductor of the children of Israel through the wilderness, of whom God says, "My name is in him." With regard to gematria of phrases, Genesis, let's see, 1050 I at 9, 1059, 10. Iba Shiloh shall come is 358, which is the numeration of the word Messiah. So Shiloh has come, 358, also is the numerical value of Messiah. So that's important. This is where you get the recursiveness of the Bible. Thus, also the passage of the numeration of the word Messiah, also the passage, Genesis.
Is that 28 or 18?
Yeah, it looks like 28 too.
Or 18.
Yeah. Well, it's the X in front of it. So, yeah, it would be 18. 18 2. Vania Shalah, Shalisha, and lo, 3 men equals the numerical value of Aleph, Michael, Gabriel, Vaparal, Ilo, Michael, Gabriel, Veraphael. These are Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael for each phrase 701. I think these instances will suffice to make clear the nature of gematria. Notariquin is derived from the Latin word notarius, shorthand, writer. Of the Notariquin, there are 2 forms. In the first, every letter of the word is taken from the initial or abbreviation of another word, so that from the letters of a word, a sentence may be formed. Thus, every letter of the word Bereshith, the first word in Genesis, is made the initial of a word, and we obtain Berasha, Ra, Alahim, Shikba, Israel. What was that?
Yeah.
Berashah, Rahai, Elohim, Bello, Israel, Torah. In the beginning, Elohim saw that Israel would accept the law. In this connection, I may give 6 very interesting specimens of Notariquin formed from the same word Berashith by Solomon Mir ben Moses, a Jewish Kabbalist who embraced the Christian faith in 1665, 1 year before 1666, and it took the name of Prosper Ruger. These all have a Christian tendency. And by their names, Prosper converted another Jew who had previously been bitterly opposed to Christianity. You want to take over from there?
Yeah. Yeah, you want me to take they all have Christian tendency? Is that where you stopped? Or
Yes.
Okay.
The first, that's I'm on the first, is NRVCH. Now, these are all Hebrew words, right? This is why they don't have any vowels in them, and they're printed into English. So that's why it's sort of confusing, because these are all Hebrew words that they're not using Hebrew to spell out.
All right, so the first is BN. I don't even know how you say that. RVCH AB SHLVSHTHM, and then ICHD THMIM. Then Ruach Ab Shalo Shetham Yakad Wabodo. The Son, the Spirit, the Father, ye shall equally worship their Trinity. The third is Bekori, Rashuni, Asher, Shamo, Yeshua, Talbodo. Ye shall worship my firstborn, my first whose name is Jesus. The fourth is Bebo, Rabban, Asher, Shamo, Yeshua, Talbodo. When the Master shall come, whose name is Jesus, we shall worship. The fifth is Bethol, Raviah, Abakar, Shethaled, Yeshua, Thashroa. I will choose a virgin worthy to bring forth Jesus, and ye shall call her blessed. The sixth is Hugoth, Ratzafim, Asatar, Shigopai, Yeshua, Thakalo. I will hide myself in cake, baked with coals, for ye shall eat Jesus, my body. The Kabbalistic importance of these sentences are bearing upon the doctrines of Christianity can hardly be overrated. The second form of the noticon, noticon, is the exact reverse of the first. By this, the initials or finals or both of the By this, the initials or finals or both or the medials of a sentence are taken to form a word or words. Thus, the Kabbalah is called Chokmah Nasrath, the secret wisdom. And if we take the initials of these two words, CH and N, form the second kind of noticon, the word CH, Chen, grace. Similarly, from the initials and finals of the words MIIOLH. Oh, I forgot. Hold on. From the initials and finals of the words me, Luala, Lino, Shamayama, who shall go up for us to heaven, are formed. And then you get Mila, circumcision, and Yad, what is that? Yad Vade, the Tetragrammaton, that God hath ordained circumcision as the way to heaven. Tumura is permeation. According to certain rules, one letter is substituted for another letter preceding or following it in the alphabet, and thus from one word another word of totality different. Thus, sorry.
Well, this would be considered to be the first coding, right? So this would be the what's it called? There's a something code. I think it's like the Napoleon code. I could be wrong on that, but the Napoleon code is where you're just transferring one letter for the next letter in the sequence. So you can also have it be, a 16-letter gap, or these could be letter specific number differences. So based upon the number of the letter you get, you could also make that the gap between the next letter, and so you've got the entire thing coded out based off of the numbers and the letters as they switch between the two things. So you're getting different words and different phrases from adding the gap. So originally it was just one letter over, and so you would have to know that that's what it was to get it.
Let me try this all over again. According to certain rules, one letter is substituted for another letter preceding or following it in the alphabet, and thus from one word another word of totally different orthography may be formed. Thus, the alphabet is bent exactly in half, in the middle, and one half is put over the other half. And then by changing alternately the first letter or the first two letters at the beginning of the second line, 22 computations are produced. These are called the table of the combinations of TZIRVP, TISRP. For example's sake, I will give the method called Albath. And that would be 11 would equal K and M, 10 would equal I and N, 9 would equal TS, 8 would equal CH and O, 7 would equal Z and P, 6 would equal V and TZ, 5 would equal, what was that, H and Q?
It looks like an H with missing. Yeah.
4 would be D and R. It's interesting, doctor. 3 would be G and CH. 2 would be, was that B and TH? And then 1 would be A and L. A and L. Libra Al.
Libra Al Bel Legas.
Yeah. Each method takes its name from the first two pairs composing it, the system of pairs of letters being the groundwork of the whole, as either letter in a pair is substituted for the other letter. Thus, by Albeth from RVCH Ruach is formed Detsu. These the name of the other 21 methods are, oh, Jesus Christ, ABGTH, AGDTH, ADGB, AHDB, AVBH, AZBV, ACHBZ, ATBCH, AIBT, AKBI, ALBK, AMBL, ANBN, ASBN, AOBS, APBO, ATZBP, AQSTZ, ARBQ, ASHBR, and ATHBSH. To these must be added the modes ABGD and ALBM. Then comes the rational table of Tizarov, another set of 22 combinations. There are also 3 table of computations known respectively as the right, the adverse, and the irregular. To make any of these, a square containing 484 squares should be made and the letters written in. For the right table, write the alphabet across from right to left. And the second row of squares do the same, but begin with B and end with A. And the third begin with G and end with B, and so on. For the adverse table, write the alphabet from right to left backwards, beginning with TH and ending with A. And the second row begin with SH and end with TH, and so on. The irregular table would take too long to describe. Besides all these, there is the method called THSHRQ, thoracic, which is simply writing a word backwards. There is one more very important form called Kabbalah of the 9 Chambers, or Ike Baker. It is thus formed. And then real quick, I'll just go over this and you can take over. 300 would be SH, 30 would be L, 3 would be G, 200 is R, 20 is K, 2 is B, 100 is Q, 10 is I, 1 is A, 600 is M final, 60 is S, 6 is V, 500 is K final, 50 is N, 5 is H, 400 is TH, 40 is M, and 4 is D. 900 is TZ final, 90 is TZ, 9 is T, 800 is P final, 80 P, 8 CH, 700 is N final, 70, and 7 for Z.
Now, there's something to be noted about both Hebrew letters and Greek letters is they have different forms for different letters that come at the end of the words. So when they're talking about the TZ final versus the TZ, those would be 2 different letters. Now, they're not showing it in the text because they probably didn't have the print for these letters again. So they're not giving you the full, context of these letters because they've simplified it and given you kind of the basic outlines. But what I think is interesting is this Ike Baker, right? The 9 chambers, right? So this is the common form of numbering for the Hebrew alphabet because the Hebrew alphabet is backwards, right? It's backwards from us. They read from right to left instead of from left to right. So I think it's kind of interesting. I have put the numeration of each letter above to show the affinity between the letters in each chamber. Sometimes this is used as a cipher by taking the portions of the figure to show the letters they contain, putting 1 point for the first letter, 2 for the second, etc. Thus, the right angle containing IAQ will answer for the letter Q if it have 3 dots or points within it. Again, this is for the Hebrew letters because they have the dots and the points on top of it. Again, a square will answer for H, N, or K final according to whether it has 1, 2, or 3 points respectively placed within it. So also with the regard to the other letters. But there are many other ways of employing the Kabbalah of the 9 chambers, which I have not space to describe. I will merely mention as an example that by the mode of the Temura called Athbash, it is found in Jeremiah 25:26. The word Shishka symbolizes BBL or Babel. Sheshka,
Shaka. Nails back then. They had Brazilian butt lifts back then.
Well, it's funny because they call goy women shishkas, and so there's a little bit of a shishka in there, and
It's
then you
it's
got the BBL,
it's
and then you
interesting
got
how,
the
again, going by what he's saying now. Technically, every time some chick is out there talking about their BBL, that is saying, is Babel actually being said?
they are talking about the whore of Babylon.
Yeah, you better make sure you got a fat ass if you want to be a whore, right?
Right. Besides all these rules, there are certain meanings hidden in the shape of the letters of the Hebrew alphabet. We've talked about this before when we talk about the tarot. Like these are actually from, what they, I guess it would be, they abstract from, animals, from certain events. They kind of look like the Hebrew letters. Uh, Hidden in the shape of the letters of the Hebrew alphabet, in the form a particular letter at the end of a word being different from that which it generally bears when it is a final letter, or in a letter being written in the middle of a word, in a character generally used only at the end, in any letters or a letter being written in a size smaller or larger than the rest of the manuscript, or in a letter being written upside down, like that H could have actually just been two ones, and we're not getting the code because we think it's an H, that sort of thing. So
Yeah,
these could be printing errors or they could be very intentional.
that is true. Yeah, because there's H's in here that look like H's.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Yeah.
you never know. Let's see. Or a letter being size larger or smaller in the manuscript, or in a letter being written upside down in the variations found in the spelling of certain words. If you guys have been paying attention to the book review show that we've been doing on Grey Pilled, they had all of these F's and S's
Oh yeah.
switched. Very good example of maybe a code being used by this standard.
Yo, even think about when
Right?
they were like throwing V's in for W's or U's. I mean, you start wondering like, why is that even being done? Is it to keep like a thing going with the numerical value or something?
Absolutely. Like there are codes that are being written down and all of these things that are shaping other things, and we're not getting the full view of what's being written, especially with the V to U sort of thing that happens in a lot of the older manuscripts.
Yeah.
And variations found in the spelling of certain words, which have a letter more in some places than they have in others. Again, like that F to S. In particularities observed in the position of any of the points or accents, and in certain expressions supposed to be elliptic or redundant. For example, the shape of the Hebrew letter Aleph, A, is said to symbolize a vowel between a Yod and a Daleth, and thus the letter itself represents the word IVD, Yod. Similarly, the shape of the letter He represents a Daleth with Yod written at the lower left hand corner, etc. In Isaiah 9, 6, and 7, the word uh, Lemar, Lemarba for multiplying is written with the character for M in the final in the middle of the word instead of with the ordinary initial and the medial M. The consequence of this is that the total numerical value of the word, instead of being 30 plus 40 plus 200 plus 2 plus 5 equals 277, is actually 30 plus 600 plus 200 plus 2 plus 5, 837 by gematria.
Mm.
The thizzle, tetzal, the profuse giver, thus is writing by the M final instead of the ordinary character. The word is made to bear a different Kabbalistic meaning.
Very well said. I like that. All right, you want me to go? You've been reading a while.
Yeah, go ahead.
It is to be further noted with regard to the first word in the Bible, brasheth, brasheth, that the first three letters B-R-A, bra, are the initial letters of the names of the three persons of the Trinity. B-N, Ben, the Son, R-V-C-H, Ruach, the Spirit, and A-B, A-B, the Father. Furthermore,
Abba.
yeah, Abba and Amma, actually, yeah. Amma would be the Great Mother. Furthermore, the first letter of the Bible is B, which is the initial letter of Barakah, blessing, and not A, which is that of ARR, Arar, person. Again, the letters of Bereshith, taking their numerical powers, express the number of the years between the creation and the birth of Christ. Thus, B equals 2000, R equals 200, A equals 1000, SH equals 300, I equals 10, and TH equals 400. Total 3,910 years. Being the time and round numbers. Picus D. Mirandula, that's interesting, gives the following working out of Bereshith. By joining the third letter, A, to the first letter, B, AB equals father, is obtained. If to the first letter B doubled the second letter, R be added, it makes BBR, be bear, in or through the sun. Be bear equals in or through the sun. If all the letters be read except the first, it makes Ash, which equals the beginning. If the fourth letter, SH, the first B and the last TH be connected, it makes Shebeth, the end or rest. If the first three letters be taken, they make Bra, error equals created. If omitting the first, the three following be taken, they make Rash, which equals head. If omitting the two first, the next two be taken, they give Ash, or Ash, equals fire. If the fourth and the last be joined, they give Sheth, which equals foundation. Again, the second letter be put before the first, it makes RB, Rob, equals great. If after the third be placed the fifth and the fourth, it gives Ayash, which equals man. If the two first be joined and the two last, they give Berith, which equals covenant. And if the first be added to the last, it gives Theb, which is sometimes used for TVB, Thob, which equals good.
Right. And so just to throw in here, most Hebrew letters are based off of these 3-syllable combinations. So when he's talking about making these substitutions and taking out these certain letters and then giving you other words from it, that's how the Hebrew language is constructed, is around these 3 primary letters for every word. So by dividing it up and mixing it around, you do get all these other words, which would be an indicator in Hebrew language that there are different values to these words. You want me to go for me?
No, if you want, I'll do this whole next one and then you can go. This one looks like it should be a little bit easier. There are 3 Kabbalistic veils of the negative existence, and in themselves they formulate the hidden ideas of the Sephiroth not yet called into being, and they are concentrated in Kether, which in this sense is the Malkuth of the hidden ideas of the Sephiroth. I will explain this. The first veil of the negative existence is Ain. Ain, negativity. The word consists of 3 letters, which thus shadow forth the first 3 Sephiroth or numbers. The second veil is the Ain SVP, limitless. This title consists of 6 letters and shadows forth the idea of the first 6 Sephiroth or numbers. The third veil is Ein, AIN SVP AVR, Ein Sof, the limitless light. This again consists of 9 letters and symbolizes the first 9 Sephiroth, but of course in their hidden idea only. But when we reach the number 9, we cannot progress farther without returning to the unity or the number 1. For the number 10 is but a repetition of unity freshly derived from the negative, as is evident from a glance at its ordinary representation in Arabic numerals, where the circle represents the negative and the 1 the unity. Thus, then the limitless ocean of negative light does not proceed from a center, for it is centerless, but it concentrates a center, which is the number 1, the Sephiroth, Kether, crown, the first Sephir, which therefore may be said to be the Malkuth, or the number 10 of the hidden Sephiroth. Thus, Kether is in Malkuth, and Malkuth is in Kether. Or as an alchemical author of a great repute, Thomas Vaughan, better known as Eugenius, I don't even know how to say his name, whatever, says, apparently quoting from Proclus, that the heaven is in the earth, but after an earthly manner, and that the earth is in the heaven, but after a heavenly manner. But inasmuch as negative existence is the subject incapable of definition, as I have before shown, it is rather considered by the Kabbalists as depending back from the number of unity than a separate consideration therefrom. Therefore, they frequently apply the same terms and epitaphs indiscriminately to either. Such epitaphs are the concealed of the concealed, the ancient of the ancient ones, the most holy ancient one, etc. There you go, sir.
Well, that's interesting. So this Ein Sof hour is the repetition, right? They kind of brushed over that part. The repetition of the Kabbalah tree on different levels of dimensionality, right? So these would be the veils that would expose the rest of the universe, at the same time being the veils on the outside of the Kabbalah tree. So you could see many different diagrams showing that the Kabbalah tree that we know of is repeated or mirrored in all these other different forms. So it's not just, within the spheres, right? It's also without the spheres and going on into non-existence, right? I must explain the real meaning of the terms Sephirah and Sephirot. The first is singular, the second is plural. The best rendering of the word is numerical emanation. There are 10 Sephirot, which are the most abstract forms of the 10 numbers, the decimal scale, i.e., the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Therefore, as in the higher mathematics, we reason of numbers in their abstract sense, so in the Kabbalah, we reason of the deity by the abstract forms of the numbers. In other words, the Sephiroth, as it was from this ancient Oriental theory that Pythagoras derived his numerical symbolic ideas. Again, this is where we get sacred geometry from. It's from the idea of 1 through 10. Among the Sephiroth jointly and severely, we find the development of the persons and the attributes of God. Of these are male and some female. Now, for some reason or other, the best known to themselves, the translators of the Bible have carefully crowded out of existence and smothered up every reference to the fact that the deity is both masculine and feminine, not in the Kabbalah tree. They have translated a feminine plural by masculine singular in the case of the word Elohim. They have, however, left an inadvertent admission of their knowledge that it was plural in Genesis 4:26. And Elohim said, "Let us make man." Again, verse 27, how could Adam be made in the image of the Elohim, male and female, unless the Elohim were male and female also? The word Elohim is plural, formed from the feminine singular ALH, ilo, by adding I am to the word. But inasmuch as I am is usually a termination of the masculine plural, and here is added to a feminine noun, it gives to the word Elohim the sense of the female potency united with a masculine idea and thereby capable of producing an offspring. And again, that's where we also get the emanations idea from, is that there's, different offsprings from this one source. So let me see here. Elohim, the sense of female potency united to a masculine idea and thereby capable of producing offspring. Now we hear much of the Father and the Son, but we hear nothing of the Mother in the ordinary religions of the day. But in the Kabbalah, we find the Ancient of Days conforms himself simultaneously into the Father and the Mother and thus begets the Son. Now this Mother is Elohim. And again, we are usually told that the Holy Spirit is masculine, but the word Rauch is spirit is feminine, as appears from the following passage from the Sefer Yetzirah. Achter, Rauch, Elohim, Shachem, uh, Achach, Achath. Feminine, not Achad, masculine. Rauch, Elohim, Chim. One is she, the spirit of the Elohim of life. Now we find that before the deity conformed himself thus, as male and female, the words of the universe could not subsist, or in the words of Genesis, the earth was formless and void. These prior worlds are considered to be symbolized by the kings who reigned in Edom before there reigned a king in Israel, and they are therefore spoken of in the Kabbalah as the Edomite kings. This will be found fully explained in various parts of this work. Now we come to the consideration of the first Sephirah, the number one, the monad of Pythagoras. In this number are the other 9 hidden. Do you want to take it from there?
Yeah, if you want, because of the time, I just realized what time it is. I'll finish off this whole paragraph, and then maybe I'll finish off like this big paragraph in the last one, and then we'll continue off like halfway through it.
I think this is a good place to stop because there is the introduction of masculine and feminine numbers to these different words, which is not something that is normally talked about, but is very vital for understanding what's going on in our world today, right?
You know what's really interesting? Sorry to interrupt you. I know with Italian, and I could be wrong with other ones, but when you start looking at other languages that are like Latin based, they all have ways, like with Italian, depending on the vowel, it's going to specify if it's male or feminine. You know, like they do have that, like in other languages where it's like it specifies that depending on how you spell it. You know, like my name, Nicolo, could be Nick, or it could be Nicola for Nicole. You know what I'm saying? Like it does specify that, you know, masculine and feminine. Even
very same.
Yeah.
Very same with Hebrew. They have, again, like he's talking about, the Elo would be a feminine noun and the I am would be a masculine plural. So they're merging the masculine plural with the feminine singular to create Elohim. So in the case, it would be a different plural form for multiple women. But in this case, it would be multiple men plus singular female. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
That could be a code.
All right, so I'm going to finish this paragraph off and then we'll wrap it up.
Yep.
All right. It is indivisible. It is also incapable of multiplication. Divide 1 by itself and it still remains 1. Multiply 1 by itself and it's still multiply 1 by itself and it is still 1 and unchanged. Thus, it is a fitting representative of the unchangeable Father of all. Now, this number of unity has a twofold nature, and thus forms, as it were, the link between the negative and the positive. In its unchangeable oneness, it is scarcely a number, but in its property of capability of addition, it may be called the first number of a numerical series. Now, the 0 is capable even of addition, just as also is negative existence. How, then, if I can neither be multiplied nor divided, is another 1 to be attained to add to it? In other words, how is the number 2 to be found? By reflection of itself. For though 0 can be incapable of definition, 1 is definable. And the effect of a definition is to form an eidolon, duplicate or image of the thing defined. Thus, then, we obtain a duad composed of I and its reflection. Now, also, we have the commencement of a vibration establishment, where the number 1 vibrates alternately from changelessness to definition and back to changelessness again. Thus, then, it is the father of all numbers and a fitting type of the father of all kings. The name of the first Sephirah is KTHR, Kether the crown. The divine name attributed to it is the name of the Father given in Exodus 3:4. AHIH Ahia, I am, it signifies existence.
I think, therefore I am.
Yes.
I reflect, therefore I am. I think, thinking is reflective.
Yeah. Sometimes
so I always compare it.
that has anything to do with like why mirrors used to be like, you know how they used to say that used to be bad luck.
The spirit mirror, right? Where you're standing between the two mirrors and your reflection is then moved out into infinite space on either side that is reflected back and forth, right? This is the reflection and the individual, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right there, all being observed at the same time, right? It's the spirit mirror.
You know how
spirit
humanity,
portal, that's what they call it.
You know how humanity probably must have been like without like when you only really had like, I guess, water or certain reflective things to even look at yourself. You probably gave zero fucks about impressing everybody.
Except there was Narcissus, right? The myth of Narcissus. He was so taken by his view in the water that he fell in and drowned.
That's what you get, right?
That's where we get narcissism from. Is Narcissus staring into the pool of water and then drowning himself.
Nice. Well,
nice. Yes,
that was good. That was good, sir. I enjoyed that one. I think the rest of the reading should be a little easier too. Those things taken out of the older books are even harder to fucking read.
Oh,
yeah, the Westcott shit he pulled out. Yeah,
it is rough, but you got to remember this isn't even in the right typeface, right? If we had the right typeface, it might make a little bit more sense, but probably not because you have to have a really good grounding in Hebrew, know the letters, know the language to actually kind of understand what they're talking about in this stuff. And it becomes even harder in Greek, actually. Isopsophy is harder than Kabbalah, which is odd because you think it would be getting easier the further back you go, but it actually gets harder and harder.
Well, I mean, if you want to look at humanity now, it makes sense. Everybody's getting dumber.
Right. Everybody's getting dumber. They've got to listen again. Exactly. You guys are the smartest audience in the world. That's why you're going to like and share this stream.
You're funny. That was great.
Let's see that one coming. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you again next time. This has been another 777. And definitely share this with your friends. Let's get to number one. Number one, baby. Let's go.
Let's do it.
You got it. Next week, we're coming back with a book.
Later.
Bye, everybody.